Measure B is going to send a clear message to everybody across this country. It's no longer free range in Mendocino County to come here and grow your pot and make your hundreds of thousands of dollars and not care about the environment and not care what it's done to our community. Thank you.
Supervisor Dean.
Well, Measure G was not correctly written in enough detail. I would think that Measure B doesn't adequately correct those issues. Commercial growing has been considered illegal and is considered illegal whether or not Measure B passes. For the board actually to take a position on this, I think is wrong. I think we should be staying neutral on this and let the voters decide. There are already land use regulations in place that prohibit large-scale, out-of-place agricultural use, whether you want to call it row and field crops or whatever. If it's in a subdivision, a small parcel of land, using a lot of water and creating runoff, that sort of thing, we do have issues. We do have land use regulations already in place to deal with this.
Thank you. Supervisor Smith?
Thank you. I agree mostly with Mr. Mayfield's comments and all the ones that have come before me. And I agree in part with Ms. Dieter's comments. I believe the voters should decide. And I really don't believe that my particular vote on this is of great import. The Board of Supervisors, the real Board of Supervisors, this being a mock exercise, voted to support legalization, regulation, and taxation, and I think that was an appropriate vote. I voted for that. That was a 4-to-1 vote of the Board of Supervisors. I think that the current issue before us, unfortunately, polarizes folks. I think that it does oversimplify the issues. I think that voters need to take a stand, and that policy makers such as the Board of Supervisors, the sheriff, and the district attorney need to listen to the voters. And that was why I took the step to make sure that it got onto the ballot. I think the voters wanted another say. And I think we need to wait, as Mr. Mayfield is saying, and see what the voters have to say. And I plan to support that.
Thank you all for your comments. I would like you also, or all now, to, in the audience, we're going to see how the folks who are here tonight feel about the same topic. So I would like everyone out there to raise either your red card or your green card. Keep them up for a few seconds, raise them high so that everybody can get a chance to see what's out there. In support? Yes is in support the green, and red is that I oppose Measure B. So green is support Measure B, red is opposed. If you don't have a card, we'll get you a card. All right, I thank you all. If you don't have a card, put your hand up and somebody will run one to you. You need some cards? There are 2 more votes. Right here. We have 2 more votes, so we want you all to participate. I didn't count them. No, but I just wanted to I think our informal, yes, Ben?
Those of us sitting in the back have no idea what the votes look like.
We're going to surprise you. The analysis from Mr. Woods here was that it was about 3/4 green and about 1/4 red.
And you may ask them to hold it up this way first, and then...
That's a good idea. We could hold it up both directions. Shall we do that now in this one? Hold it up again and face them backwards so that our city councilman in the back can see what you're talking about. See, I told you we'd have a few laps tonight. Thank you. All right. You got it back there? Super. Thank you. Thank you for your participation in that. Okay, we're going to go on to the second issue, handled in the same manner as the first issue. And we will, when we get to the 1 minute, I will ask you to again repeat what your vote will be so that folks who are going through page by page through their booklet can mark it off at that time. If you haven't looked at the booklet, I think wonderfully, photos and statements are in here, and there's a place on each page for the audience members to check how you voted. So, second issue. I'm going to read first from the summary in the booklet. The second issue, there will be a vote taken after this issue. There has been much community discussion regarding land use in our area, specifically around the issue of making zoning changes to land currently zoned for industrial and agricultural use. Supporters of such land use changes feel that such conversions of industrial and or agricultural land to residential, commercial, or mixed use will potentially bring a variety of new jobs and an increase in sales tax dollars to the community. The opponents of such land use changes believe that such properties should be preserved for future industrial and agricultural growth, and that there will very likely be a demand for such land use in the next 10 years. So I'm going to read a motion to you, and again, you'll be asked to hold up your green card if you support the motion, and the red card if you oppose the motion, or would like to vote no on the motion. And for those of you who aren't sure exactly what we're talking about, if you haven't been keeping up on anything, these are sample, and a sample would be the Masonite property and the proposal out there. We're not voting on that, but this is making zoning changes in order for developments like that to come into play here. So I am going to read this motion. I move that we support a policy that will allow zoning changes as needed that will convert industrial and agricultural land to retail, housing, and mixed-use development. So I am this time going to start with the second district. So I am going to ask Supervisor Clifton to hold up her card first, yes or no. Sorry, I confused you because I jumped to the next district. Thank you very much. Supervisor Mayfield. Thank you. Supervisor McCowan. Thank you. Supervisor Mulner. Thank you. Supervisor Peter. Sorry. Supervisor Smith. Thank you. Supervisor Brown. Harry Brown. Thank you. Supervisor Dolly Brown. Thank you. Supervisor Delbar. Thank you. And Supervisor Morrison. Thank you. And Supervisor Rickle. We will start again with Supervisor Clifton. Yes.
I have one question. Can you repeat, because you said
As needed.
thank you.
Yes.
Sure about it.
Okay. You want me to repeat the motion before we get into comments?
I think you should.
Okay. The motion, and then I will start with Supervisor Clifton for 1 minute comments. I move that we support a policy that will allow zoning changes as needed that will convert industrial and agricultural land to retail, housing, and mixed-use development. So Supervisor Clifton. Yeah, thank you for holding the card up and remembering it.
The reason I'm opposed is because currently we are not needing to rezone our agriculture and commercial sites. And in this election cycle, that is our reality. The motion was phrased as needed, and it has been shown that there isn't a need for additional commercial space or additional residential zoned areas, and we have sufficient. So it was somewhat of a tricky question. I first held my sign sideways because there is no need at this time, and I want to make it clear that is my position in the current moment. In general, if there was some pressing need that we needed more residential areas, I would put agricultural zoned areas at the lowest priority of any area to rezone. That soil is gold. We only have about 3% of our land in the county is agriculture, and we want to maintain our agriculture. Right now we have plenty of commercial space, enough to build 1 million square feet of additional commercial facilities.